We're in Akihabara for one thing only. Wangan Midnight.
No figures, no maids.
No Pokemon cards, no maid cap. I mean, you know, if the right thing comes along. But I'm looking for Initial D, Wangan Midnight, maybe some rhythm games. Where can we go? Where can we go? For the last few months, I've been obsessed with racing games. I'm constantly in a state of missing Japan, and to curb that hunger, I look for games that let me drive around the country's many raceways and cities, especially Tokyo's C1 Shudo Expressway, which is featured in countless games, and there's even a whole film series based on it. I was blown away when Forza Horizon 6 announced that its open-world setting would be Japan, but what could I play in the meantime that would give me the same feeling? This is my journey into the underground world of Japanese racing games. As I was concluding my DDR project, I started looking for other games to play at round 1, and a friend pointed me towards Wangan Midnight Maximum Tune, a series from Bandai Namco that instantly became a favorite. It's an arcade racing game where all levels are based on real highways in Japan. The soundtrack is also incredible. It's composed by Yuzo Koshiro, who did Streets of Rage. The game has a single-player story mode based on the manga where you upgrade your car after each mission, providing progression between plays. The multiplayer mode is fantastic. Up to 4 players can compete, and whoever wins stays on the cabinet with a free credit, just like a fighting game. The game also has dense traffic, so there's a challenge in speeding through the highways while racing your opponents and dodging pedestrian vehicles. It's a great balance of fun. As much as I like this game, it doesn't have much fanfare here in the States. I often find the cabinets vacant, but I was curious, what's the scene like in Japan? In America, we only have MaxiTune 5DX Plus, released in Japan in 2016 and 2022 in the States. But I constantly see overseas tweets from packed game centers with people playing 6RR Plus, which came out in Japan in 2024, and there's even news of future location tests for Speed Ignition, which will be a reboot of the entire series. We're so far behind in the US, but I had a Japan trip coming up, so I was determined to play the latest MaxiTune, uncover the racing game scene in Tokyo's many game centers, and perhaps discover some retro games that could be potential new favorites. I also had 8 tickets for wrestling shows, so it was easy to convince myself. Off to Japan we go. This Shibuya crossing kind of sucks. Yeah, dude, this ain't... What the hell? This Shibuya crossing ain't nothing. Everyone... Shibuya sucks, dude. The first place I checked out was Mikado Game Center in Ikebukuro, located between a soapland and pachinko parlor. It boasts an impressive collection of unique retro cabinets such as Typing of the Dead and Kosadate Quiz, a trivia game about raising a family where your answers determine how smart or geeky your children will be. My kids turned out to be otaku. I tried Sega Rally Championship, which has impressive handling physics for a 1995 game. But the wildest game there was Thrill Drive, which is Konami's equivalent to Burnout. It's a racing game with dense traffic and a traumatic accident system. Your damage cost is totaled as you play, so there's even a separate leaderboard for worst drivers. The cabinet's seatbelt also tightens on you, simulating a real crash. It's never been ported to consoles, but its presentation is so shocking that it's hilarious. My first taste of Wangan Midnight Maximum Tune in Japan was at Round 1 in Ikebukuro. Stepping into a Round 1 in Japan is a crazy experience. It feels like a casino. There's multiple floors with smoking sections, slot machines, and simulated horse betting. It's awesome. I saw a row of open MaxiTune cabinets, so I pulled out my Bandai passport card and registered my Japanese license. Similar to making a profile in DDR, you can get an arcade memory card to save your data across machines. It's super easy getting one in Japan. Most arcades have vending machines, and they're only $2. I even got the Sega one so I could register my and Initial D. These cards are also available at American Round 1s, but you have to ask at the front register and they're often sold out. I started a new campaign which gave me a new car to level up. I played around with a friend, but I wanted to find a more active arcade. No better place to search than the Otaku Holy Land of Akihabara. There's lots of entertainment and game centers in Akiba. The majority are filled with crane games, and there's even electronic touts attracting customers inside. But if you poke around, you'll find several arcades dedicated to retro games, and many feature floors of the latest rhythm and racing games. Walking around Akiba at night also exposes you to local JDM culture. Flashy cars are parked on its central avenue. It's also cool to see Itasha cars out in the wild. Itasha is the art of decorating your car. It comes from the word itai, which means painful, as in painful to look at, but I find it beautiful. This is also prevalent in otaku culture, where fans decorate their bags in complete dedication to their favorite characters, also known as an Ita bag. I see it at wrestling shows, shops advertising character goods, and even on the subway. Itasha cars are also in America. Check any Round 1 parking lot or anime convention, but here in Akihabara you'll find it everywhere. It's also my favorite part of modern racing games. Both Gran Turismo 7 and Forza famously lets you paint and share designs, so my cars are always covered in random anime characters. I always love when people find ways of expressing themselves in games, and Itasha is the perfect cross-section of otaku and JDM culture. Now back to arcades. I was blown away by Gigo Building 3. The 4th floor has 8 Maxi-Tune cabinets, and there's even one hooked up to a streaming computer so you can watch live gameplay on YouTube. These machines were pretty active, but I was always able to sit down and play, and even got to experience 4-player matches. I lost to high-level racers, but had a blast. I was surprised that Wangan Midnight wasn't the most popular racing game. Instead, the floor was dominated by Initial D the Arcade, released in 2021, and with the Season 5 update patch in 2025. It's still not in America. I've never bothered with the older Initial D games in the States, because our version has been offline for years, but here in Tokyo, it was flourishing with plenty of in-game items to unlock. When I finally played the game and started my profile, I was instantly impressed. The screen was bigger, the soundtrack was great and filled with the Eurobeat spirit the franchise is known for. It also had racing lines similar to Forza. I didn't want to get too absorbed in it, knowing I wouldn't have access to anything like it back home, but now I'm hungry to go back and level up my Initial D car, or anticipate a North American release, hopefully sometime this decade. But the real surprise was waiting up above. On the 6th floor was Retro G, a dense collection of 90s arcade cabinets all maintained to pristine condition. Everything I loved was here. Final Fight, Time Crisis, House of the Dead, Terminator 2, Crazy Taxi, and rows of classic racing games. I finally played Rave Racer, which recently had a home console port. It's the sequel to Ridge Racer 1 and 2, but it's something I had never been exposed to before this year. It's incredible. Sega's Outrun 2 is also great. There's a heart attack mode where you drive along the coast with your sweetheart as a love meter fills up. She gives commands and you gain more hearts the more you fulfill her desires, such as drifting or speeding past cars. Depending on your rank, there's multiple endings. Sometimes you obsess over your work instead of the girl, or the girl picks the car instead of you. Tragic, but that's the story of love. The game that impressed me the most was Sega Rally Championship 2, which had a full-size motion rig. This felt like riding Star Tours at Disneyland, where each bump or turn shook the entire cabinet. It's exhilarating. I had never played rally racing games before this trip, but now I'm fascinated by the subgenre and want to play more. I even started taking classes back home with Colin McRae.
Stay clear of the cones. Watch it. Mind the cones.
There were other cool arcades in the Tokyo area. Shinjuku has Game Panic and Kabukicho. This is located in the heart of Yakuza's red light district, but the arcade environment is pretty laid back. One detail I loved is the Maxi-Tune cabinets all had baskets hanging above for you to put your bags in. It keeps the arcade floor clean, and you can keep an eye on your stuff as you get lost in your game. Because I was going to so many wrestling shows right above at Shinjuku Face, I developed a routine where I would meet up with friends before and after our shows to race in both Initial D and Wangan Midnight. It became our own hangout spot and I miss it dearly. Across the famous Yakuza Red Gate is Taito Station. It's packed and a bit run down.
What you do to your fucking It's a fixer-upper, you know.
Oh my god. But we found our Maxi-Tune cabinets and raced with a friendly stranger. We went back to Ikebukuro mainly for the Stardom-themed grill at Tokiwate, which featured autographs, wrestling on TVs, wrestlers on seats, exclusive trading cards, and unlimited lemon sour. I spent the whole dinner gushing about Joshi wrestling and racing games, which encapsulated the trip perfectly. And then we went out to explore more game centers. We found a great hub of racing action at Gigo Ikebukuro. It was packed on a Saturday night. We played Maxi-Tune and were immediately slammed by a player. Slamming is a controversial technique amongst Wangan Midnight players. It's a competitive strategy to crash into other cars to slow them down, or to knock pedestrian cars to block the racers' paths. But it causes real damage to the cabinets as players snap the steering wheels to their limits, and arcades all over have signs warning players from being too rough on the machines. If you check the MaxiTune Reddit, there's constantly threads about players complaining about slammers. But honestly, it's really funny to do. Yes! If you're playing with friends, and not actually abusing the machines, just, softly bumping into your pals. No slamming! It feels like an integral part of the game. It'd be like playing Burnout without doing crashes, but there's definitely a balance and a way to do it without breaking the cabinet. Fuck off! No! A secret hotspot in Ikebukuro for Wangan Midnight is Gigo in Ikebukuro. Anthony Segura. I had a few adventures outside Tokyo, too. I went to the Nintendo Museum in Kyoto. Photos aren't allowed inside, but I learned that one of my all-time favorite racing games, Cruisin' USA, was never released in Japan. It felt like the inverse shock of learning that I can't play Initial D the arcade back home. So maybe it isn't so bad to have been born in California after all. We might not have Joshi Wrestling every night of the week or the latest MaxiTune, but at least I grew up driving through Beverly Hills, San Francisco, and California's majestic redwoods in Midway's Americana masterpiece. Also in Kyoto, I found Densha du Go on PS4 at a retro game shop. This is Taito's long-standing arcade series with many versions. You can find full-scale train conductor booths at arcades. You operate the JR Yamanote line on Tokyo's subway system, which is the exact route I was using to get across town during my trip. It's an incredible game where you balance speed limits, railway safety, and coming to a perfect stop on time at your next station. It feels like I brought one of my favorite parts of Japan home with me, and I highly recommend it. In Nagoya, I visited my Twitch friend Asuna Karaoke at the Mirai Tower in Sake, which is the real-world setting for Yakuza 5. There was a beautiful Pokemon Center with animatronics and demo stations for Pokopia, which made me want to try it. I also checked out game centers in Osu, which is Nagoya's otaku district. Game Panic didn't have any racing cabinets, it was mostly crane games, but its rhythm game section was serene on a Monday afternoon and had a display of DDR Pro Player jerseys. Maybe one day one of my own sweat-stained Stardom shirts will be on display. I checked retro game shops like Mandarok and Super Potato and stumbled upon a pristine PS2 Gran Turismo 3 racing wheel. I didn't take it home with me, but it ignited a desire to seek a proper wheel once I got home. I knew just who to call. Jordan, how are you?
Pretty good. So I found a Logitech G920. Normally they're like a couple $100, but this one was Como Nuevo, brand new.
Really?
So Facebook Marketplace listing, it literally just said Como Nuevo, nothing else on it. And it was $50. And I'm like, okay, that's really weird. It didn't have the end of the USB plug, so it's like, couldn't even test it out. And it's like, oh, this is new, this works, right? And he's like, yeah, totally, I just don't use it anymore. Turns out the cable to the brakes were messed up. Easy enough to fix, just took it out, cut off like a foot of the cable or whatever. It does work Como Nuevo now, so it is good as new.
The Como Nuevo wheel is incredible. I started testing it out on a Dreamcast emulator and I'm hooked already. I'm practicing steering with Forza Motorsport and slamming in Wreckfest. It's so immersive and I'm excited to revisit all my favorite racing games. Oh, what the fuck? You can crash in this game? And even outside of gaming, I'm doing my best to stay above post-Japan depression by going out to local Japanese cultural events, game-changer wrestling shows, and planning more adventures with friends. I still want to keep exploring the world of JDM culture and racing games, so keep an eye out for a follow-up video in the future. It'll also be interesting to see if Forza Horizon 6 will deliver, or if any other Japan-themed racing games will hit the mark too. We'll be here to cover it all. This is Frank Howley. See you on the road.